The old songs were written for a world that was supposed to last forever. One woman found a way to make music matter right now, and Thorin Oakenshield gets a proper farewell. Music from Marc Gunn, Fialla, Liam Vincent and the Odd Foxes, and Brobdingnagian Bards. This is Pub Songs and Stories number 315.
Well, a Scotsman clad in kilt left a bar one evening fair, and one could tell by how he walked that he drunk more than his share. He fumbled around until he could no longer keep his feet, and he stumbled off into the grass to sleep beside the street. Ring-ding-diddly-hi-de-oh, ring-di-diddly-hi-ho. He stumbled off into the grass to sleep beside the street. About that time, two young and lovely girls just happened by, and one says to the other with a twinkle in her eye, "See, I'm sleeping Scotsman, so strong and handsome built. I wonder if it's true what they don't wear beneath the kilt. A ring-ding-diddly-hi-de-oh, ring-di-diddly-hi-ho. I wonder if it's true what they don't wear beneath the kilt." Well, they crept up on that sleeping Scotsman, quiet as could be, and lifted up his kilt about an inch so they could see. And there, behold, for them to see, beneath his Scottish skirt, was nothing more than God had graced him with upon his birth. Ring-ding-diddly-hi-de-oh, ring-di-diddly-hi-ho. Oh, nothing more than God had graced him with upon his birth. Well, they marveled for a moment, then one said, "We must be gone. Let's leave a present for a friend before we move along." As a gift they left a blue silk ribbon tied into a bow. Around the bonny star the Scots kilt did lift and show. Ring-ding-diddly-hi-de-oh, ring-di-diddly-hi-ho. Around the bonny star the Scots kilt did lift and show. Well, the Scotsman woke to nature's call and stumbled towards a tree. Behind a bush he lifts his kilt and gawks at what he sees, and in a startled voice he says to what's before his eyes, "Oh lad, I don't know where you've been, but I see you won first prize." Ring-ding-diddly-hi-de-oh, ring-di-diddly-hi-ho. "Oh lad, I don't know where you've been, but I see you won first prize."
Welcome to Pub Songs and Stories. Every story has a song. Every episode is a toast to Celtic and folk songwriters. Discover the stories behind the songs from the heart of the Celtic pub scene. I am your bard, Marc Gunn, and also host of Irish and Celtic Music Podcast. If you're new to the show, please follow us. You can do it at pubsong.com or just send an email to follow@celtfather.net. Before we get started, a quick word about Patreon. If you're listening to this on the public feed, you're getting it a week after my patrons already heard it. Just so you know, those folks also get a second podcast nobody else hears about, concert bootlegs, brand new songs I'm writing right now, and 2 live pub albums that flat out don't exist anywhere else. All that for $5 a month, 1 pint. If that sounds like your thing, head to patreon.com/celtfather. There's even a free tier. You get a whole album just for showing up. Right, on with the show. Speaking of Patreon, actually, we kicked off the show with the Scotsman. That is a solo recording. It's the only solo recording I have of that song. It is exclusively available on my Heroes compilation, which is available for my superheroes over on Patreon. So if you'd like to own a copy of that, head on over to Patreon. Really quick, upcoming shows. I'm going to be at the Georgia Renaissance Festival every weekend in May, the rest of the weekend to May. I'll be at Gen Con, July 30th through August 2nd, and Dragon Con, September 3rd through 7th. Now, this was a really busy month. April was just constant, just like May looks like it's going to be as well. Of course, at the beginning of the month, I was at Sherwood Forest Fair, had a great time performing with my daughter. May and I, we had our own show, May Will Bloom, and we were performing the first weekend of Sherwood, and she just killed it. We were doing one show a day, and we got up there, and she just was just absolute delight. Everyone enjoyed. She's got that charisma that I feel like few musicians actually have, few people actually have. And she was up there just delightful as can be. She ended up singing some songs, one of which was she's been covering Benson Boone's song "Beautiful Things," and she just kills it. And you could tell by the audience as they went screaming for her at the end of it. I actually posted some short videos over on TikTok and on Instagram, and they have blown up. One of them actually on TikTok had 90,000 views, which is more than I've ever had on mine. So, but you would look at the video and you can see how she's moving. What's interesting is that even how she's moving, while it is lovely, it's, she hasn't quite mastered the art of movement on stage. And I think that's something coming. So stay tuned for that. At Jordan Con, I went there. That was the third week of April, and I got to meet the author of the song "The Hills of Tanchico," which was featured on the Wheel of Time season 3 episode. One of the episodes. It's written by Mikhail Koparkar, and he came out to the convention in large part because last year I started singing that song, and they did a video, and he was so thrilled to see his song performed, and it was great. We had a little exchange of fanning towards one another because he was like, "Oh my God, that's the best," and I'm like, "Oh well, I get to meet the author." It was a really cool experience, really funny, but it was so much fun the whole weekend at the convention. Now, much of the month I was voiceless, which of course sucks, but I got over it towards the end of the month. StellarCon was a little bit better. The convention itself was very small this year. Sadly, with the economy being so bad, I don't think as many people showed up to the convention. All the conventions apparently have been down, except for Jordan Con, and that was because Brandon Sanderson showed up, who is the author who took over the Wheel of Time series when Robert Jordan passed away. But since it was a slow convention this year, I decided to do some video shorts where I'm basically singing the chorus of a song and introducing an author. Mainly, I think it might have been someone else. Yeah, there was also, I did a soap vendor out there, which I really had fun doing. I'm not sure if it's the best marketing method, but it was a neat way to introduce people to other things at the convention. Finally, I wrote a new song this month. It's called The First Rule of Flying. It is, of course, a Firefly song. It was written for the In the Verse podcast that I do with Mikey Mason, and I absolutely love how this song came out. It is definitely, I feel like it could be a good closer for the whole show if I didn't have several to choose from as it is. So I'm going to have to figure out where I'm going to put it when I get to Gen Con especially. So stay tuned for that. But again, if you are a patron, you can download that song. Sadly, I have not written enough songs this month, and I really need to because at Gen Con, I'm doing a Doctor Who drinking songs show, and I have several Doctor Who drinking songs, but I'm not sure if I have enough. So, all right, let's get on some music. Next up is Fialla. This is Maid in Her Father's Garden. It's from their album Home and Away.
There was a maid in her father's garden, and a gentleman, he came passing by. He stood a while to gaze upon her, and he said, "Fair maid, would you fancy I?" But I'm not a lady, I'm a poor girl, a poor man's daughter of a low degree. Well, fine young man, find some other sweetheart for your servant maid. I'm not fit to be. It's 7 years since I had a true love, 7 more since I did him see, and 7 more I will wait upon him. But if he's alive, he'll come back to me. If he's sick, I will wish him better. If he is dead, I will wish him rest. But if he's alive, I will wait upon him. He's the only young man I do love best. It's 7 years since you had a true love, 7 more since you did him see, and 7 more you will wait upon him. Perhaps that young man in there will see. He put a hand down in his pocket, his gentle fingers, they were thin and small, and up between them he pulled a gold ring, and when she saw it, she down did fall. He picked her up all in his arms and gave her 7 years make great alterations over agencies between you and me. Father's garden, and a gentleman, he came passing by. He stood a while to gaze upon her, and he said, "Fair maid, would you fancy I?" There was a maid in her father's garden, and a gentleman, he came passing by. He stood a while to gaze upon her, and he said, "Fair maid, would you fancy I?"
All right. I am really excited to share this interview I did. A couple years ago, I met up with DANIELLE DUPONT. She is the founder of the Wenches. You see them perform at Renaissance festivals throughout the nation. The Wenches, usually they are like, some of them are missing teeth and their hair is all wild, and there's a mud pit, and they sing and they tell jokes, and they just have a whole bunch of fun. It's a hilarious show. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. One of the weekends that I was at Sherwood Forest Fair, she invited a bunch of entertainers to perform at a woman's shelter in Austin, Texas. I went out there and I was so inspired by that experience that I was like, I have to interview Danielle. And so here is my interview with DANIELLE DUPONT. Welcome. I am here today with DANIELLE DUPONT. She is one of the Wenches here at Sherwood Forest Fair, and she's also doing some amazing things with women's shelters in regards to Faire. And so I'm really excited to talk to her. I went on this event last week, and it was so inspiring. I was like, I wanted to find out more about it. So here I am with Danielle. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So let's start with the Wenches and how you got started on your journey to Renaissance festivals and starting this incredible business.
Thank you. Yeah, the Wenches, we're a troupe of right now about 16 girls who perform at about 34 fairs around the country.
Wow.
Yeah. When I first started 30 years ago, there was no main stage female acts. The journey through the last 30 years of getting like seats, getting sound systems, getting fairs to pay you, any of that thing. 30 years ago, they didn't want to pay you. They were like, oh, you're a female act. And they would give you like 2 benches in a corner somewhere and pay you nothing, and you'd see all of your male colleagues and you'd be like, why don't they understand? So, I mean, it took years and years and years of really struggling and fighting to get parity and equity out there. And I think that now there's a lot more main stage female acts.
There are, yeah.
So, and I think that we were definitely the pioneers of that. So, I started this 30 years ago, and my degree was in interdisciplinary social sciences at University of South Florida. And gender equity was one of those things. So in a way, the whole washing well wench phenomena was sort of an outcropping of like guerrilla feminist theater.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, so like people are like, I actually had people when I was in my early 20s who went out on the road. They were a male act. I'm not going to say who, but they went out on the road and they came back through, and I was like, oh wow, you went on the road. What is that like? Are there women acts out there? And they looked at me and they went, women aren't funny. Like, this is 30 years ago. Yeah, 30 years ago, this was the kind of stuff I was fighting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Even to this day, if you go to like a comedy club, you're going to see the lineup of like 80% men and 20% women. And, the uphill battle to do comedy as a woman was... Now I'm coasting, though, so it's great.
Right.
They got, like I said, now when you go to a Renaissance festival, you're more likely to see a washing well wench show than, you get a joust, and then there's a washing well wench show. Like, we're like mainstream now.
Well, how did the washing well wenches start? I mean, what did you do? What was the inspiration for this particular act, a show?
Well, I climbed under the fence because I couldn't afford to get in. I was 17 years old
at a Renaissance
festival, and I got caught, and I got hired immediately to work the fencing booth, the sword fighting booth, and. That was great, but I saw all the people walking around called actors, and I was like, I want to be an actor. So the next year when they had auditions, I auditioned, and they put me with all the other spare girls. They put all the young women at the washing well, and there was 20 of us.
At the washing well?
The washing well. It was a big pit of water that we were supposed to be pretending to do laundry at.
Okay.
And so it was 20 of us frolicking over there, but I was a chaos monkey. I was full of a lot of energy, and I would dump buckets of water over the girls' heads. They were a little bit more into being pretty and singing and flirting, and I was now we're gonna laundry fight, and and we were I threw a lot of really chaotic energy in.
I'm thinking about the little I know of the Scottish. There's a Scottish there's a type of songs that are all about washing, and so which is that energy. But I'm just imagining all these old Scotswomen.
We would play jump laundry, and we play limbo laundry, and we would play twist her, which was left hand mud, right knee mud, spleen mud. And we did this just chaos for hours, and it was so much fun, and we started really getting big audiences, and we started getting little pearls of things that worked every time, and if you string those pearls together, you have a 20-minute show. And then so we sent out to go to other fairs, and we went to other fairs with what we had, and they were excited to have us. And but I was the torch carrier, carrying the material and the ideas forward, and honing it down into something that could be taken on the road and done as a business.
So where was the first show then?
Largo, Florida.
Largo, Florida.
Largo, Florida. That was my home show.
And now, what fairs are you at now?
I do.
I mean, as many as you can remember.
I do this one, and then I'm off to SoCal, and then I'm off to Sterling, New York, and then after that is Michigan, and then after that is TRF.
Fantastic.
And then, but like I said, my girls are at 34 fairs around the country.
Right.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So now, again, the other day we were sitting in a morning meeting, and they're finishing up, and you stand up and you say, "So we're going to a women's shelter on Tuesday, and we're looking for some volunteers." And I'm like, you know what? Let's do this and see what this is. And I thought it'd be neat.
I'm so glad you did.
And I went over there, and we, as you're telling us, we're going to be doing painting nails and provide some music to so it's something a little bit different audibly while we're there, so you don't have to feel the need to talk all the time and such. But it was a fascinating experience, and then I learned from you afterwards that you do this at fairs all over the place. And can you tell me how this started and how it all came together?
Yeah, well, when I first got on the road, some 20 years ago, 5-10 years into being on the road, 20 years ago, I realized that I loved doing what I was doing with Washing Well Wenches. I loved doing my comedy show. I loved, in my mind, changing the world a little bit by that. But I still had the desire for service. I had intended to become a Unitarian Universalist minister, and instead I chose comedy. So I had the need for service, and I didn't know how to do that. So we tried a bunch of different things. I would get my friends at Renaissance festivals together, and we would go to soup kitchens. We did Habitat for Humanity. We did all these things, but none of them highlighted what we do, which is bring joy, And so it occurred to me, I got this great idea. There's a group of people that need joy, women's shelters, and there's a group of us that like to give joy. That's us Ren folk. Right. And I'm like, let's put those two together. So I brought henna artists, face painters, massage therapists, musicians, balloon artists, jugglers, magicians. We've brought all sorts of services that we do. We've brought animals, like we bring the birds of prey out with us, or we've brought horses out to them before. Like, we just bring out the festival to them, and they end up having just 3 hours of a fantastic medieval or Renaissance party. And
where did this start?
Started in Michigan.
Okay.
Started in Michigan, and I've now been doing that one. We do 2 shelters there in Flint. We do both the shelters of Flint, and we've been doing that for over 20 years. And then about 10 years ago, we came up with this idea, well, that's fun, what we're doing, bringing the fair to them, but why don't we bring them to the fair? Ooh. So we started busing them out. Well, we rent a bus, and we bus out 80 people, women and children, and When they get to the festival, all the women step off the bus. All the grown women step off the bus, get a red rose from the prettiest rose boy I can find. All the children get to choose from either a wagon full of garlands or a wagon full of painted shields that are theirs for the day, or they get to keep forever. And then they get into the fair, and we cater a lunch for them, and the queen comes and knights them, and the fairies frolic at their catered lunch. And yeah, they just have an amazing day where they get to walk around the fair, and they get it in free admission. They get to do all the rides for free. We own the coffee shop there in Michigan, and so we give them free coffee and free cocos and fancy drinks all day, and they get a free turkey leg coupon.
You use the word "we," but at the same time, from what I understand, you are the one who's organizing this.
Yes.
You don't have a nonprofit going, right?
No nonprofit.
No, this is just.
I just use the word "we" because it takes a team to do anything.
It does. True.
So I guess instead of the royal we, I have the I have the hopeful team we.
I will accept the we, but at the same time, I do want to make sure everyone realizes that you are just as incredible, and you bring me tears to my eyes. So. So give me a sec here. No, but I really, that's incredible that that you do all this. And how's it gone? How's the response for people out there?
It's really great. I mean, I've had a couple fairs that were less receptive. It broke my heart.
Oh.
They didn't even want to give free comp tickets to the women and children. And I was like, for real?
Yeah, right.
If it's a woman and children's shelter, you can't give them free comp tickets?
Right.
I mean, I didn't even get to the rest of it. We hire a bus, and we have free turkey legs, and we have a catered lunch, and you have, they didn't even want to give free tickets. But this fair is amazing. This is the Sherwood Forest Fair. I've done it, I think, once last year. We bussed everybody out.
Oh, wow.
And I'm working on it. I think it'll be the 14th. We're going to bus everyone out. Oh, and wow. The fair we'll let them play all the games for free. The archery, I'll probably get the archery people to work with them one-on-one at a certain time slot. And I'll just try to plan an entire day for them of and it's really cool. The queen here, the Spanish queen here,
yeah.
She speaks Spanish, and a lot of the shelter guests at this particular shelter speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And they get so excited to see royalty that speaks Spanish
cool, yeah.
to them, here at the fair.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's like...
That's one of the things I was really impressed with, too, because, I think there was also I had some preconceived notions about who might be at the shelter, and I was shocked, I guess, to see that it was spanning all ages, all different races,
all demographics.
Yeah, it was all over the place.
Yeah.
Is that pretty universal? Is that what you're running into?
Absolutely.
And,
yeah.
And it's not just the women too. It's also some of the children who are staying. Doing that.
Yeah, it's women and children. Women come with children.
Yeah.
So these, oh, and then when we do those shelters, one of my favorite things is that the people that work the shelter tell us that the ripples of what we do lasts for months.
Really?
They said that, before we show up, they're very guarded, and they don't talk to each other very much. And after we work with them and have that wonderful party for them, the ripples of play and joy in community last for weeks after we leave.
Oh.
So. Yeah.
That's just really incredible.
That is one of the things. It's one thing to know that what you've done has been a joy for people. It's another thing to realize how that joy ripples.
Yeah.
And so I have a long-term goal here. And
that's what I was going to ask next.
The long-term goal is to get I just think that all Renaissance festivals should be paired with their sister shelters in their area. It should amazing. Just be main stage female comedy acts should be at your event.
Yeah.
Right? You should make sure that you have one of those. And if you're a place of joy, like a festival, that you have a women's shelter that's your sister organization. It's, you go out and visit them, they come in and visit you. Maybe you could say you get $10 off your ticket at the gate if you bring diapers in with you or something.
Right.
We could be a clearinghouse for for donations.
Yeah.
I just think that, like I said, they're in the business of needing joy, and we're in the business of giving joy. So it seems like it's like Reese's peanut butter cups.
That sounds absolutely amazing. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I'm touched by it, as you can see. And I hope it keeps going strong and building and such, and you get your vision, because that sounds amazing.
Right.
So,
thank
you, Danielle.
Thank you so much, Mark.
If you want to find out more about the Washing Well Wenches, go to washingwellwenches.com. Today's show is brought to you by Celtic Invasion Vacations. Every year I take a small group of people on a relaxing adventure to one of the Celtic nations. We don't see everything. Instead, we stay in one area. We get to know the region through its culture, history, and legends. You can join me with an auditory and visual adventure through podcasts, blogs, videos, and photos. Sign up to the mailing list at CelticInvasion.com and come hike with me on the Isle of Skye in 2027. Here's some music from Liam Vincent and the Odd Foxes. They are a new band to the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast. This is 4,000 Weeks from their self-titled album.
One, 2, 3, 4.
4,000 weeks, 4,000 weeks. You'll be happy to wake up to 4,000 weeks, 4,000 weeks, 4,000 weeks. You'll be lucky to make it to 4,000 weeks. You're lucky to make it to 4,000 weeks. Everyone's trying to find someone to trust, but our elders and betters are so much more foolish than us. We all have to swim in the same filthy sea. Better bring your own paddle to get up the creek. 4,000 weeks, 4,000 weeks. You'll be happy to wake up to 4,000 weeks, 4,000 weeks, 4,000 weeks. You'll be lucky to make it to 4,000 weeks. You're lucky to make it to 4,000 weeks. Don't waste your time, as learned books say. You'd better get busy at making the most of your days. For all the hours of your life, there's a tally to keep. Then they tell you to spend at least 1/3 asleep. 4,000 weeks, 4,000 weeks. You'll be happy to wake up to 4,000 weeks, 4,000 weeks, 4,000 weeks. You'll be lucky to make it to 4,000 weeks. You're lucky to make it to 4,000 weeks. Be happy to wake up to 4,000 weeks, 4,000 weeks, 4,000 weeks. You'll be happy to wake up to 4,000 weeks, 4,000 weeks, 4,000 weeks. You'll be happy to wake up to 4,000 weeks, 4,000 weeks, oh 4,000 weeks. You'll be lucky to make it to 4,000 weeks.
Hope you enjoyed that track. If you did, make sure you send an email to follow@celtfather.net so you can follow all of the artists you find on the Pub Songs and Stories podcast. Follow@celtfather.net. That's the way to do that. Today I'm talking about Thorin'S Eulogy. This is a track that I released on I Will Not Sing Along. It's a Brobdingnagian Bards album. I think it was back in 2007 when I was hired to perform for a gig called Swan Songs. Now, what Swan Songs does is they hire musicians to come play for people who are on the death watch, basically the last 72 hours of their life. They're about to pass away. The woman that I was hired to play for, she was Irish, and they said they wanted me to come in and, sing a song for her. So I arrived excited to play the gig. You know, a gig is a gig. At least that's what I thought at the time. But I go in there and I decided to play When Irish Eyes Are Smiling because it's a good, popular Irish American song. And I knew it pretty well. And I was like, okay, this would be a lovely song to sing for them that's kind of upbeat for them. So I start singing When Irish Eyes are Smiling. And around there, her entire family's gathered. I think the person who hired me was also there. One of the directors was there as I start playing this song. Halfway through the song, I'm singing to this woman who's lying in bed. But halfway through the song, I see her breathe out her last breath. And I finish the song and people recognize what's going on and that she has basically just passed away. I have never seen anyone pass away before. So obviously I'm standing there and feeling, I'm not sure what I'm feeling at the time, but I do know that when I left the room and went to my car, I spent the next hour bawling. In fact, it still brings tears to my eyes to this day. It was a beautiful and, sad experience to see someone go from life into death. To be quite honest, it felt, traumatizing doesn't quite experience. It was just a powerful feeling, a powerful sadness that overcame me. I kind of blocked it out, but then it came back to me many years later. And it was during the death scene of Thorin Oakenshield in the Hobbit movie, the third Hobbit movie. Bilbo is with Thorin as he's breathing his last breath, and I saw that moment when Thorin breathed out his last breath, and he captured the experience I had, and a flood of memories just shot back at me. I started bawling in the middle of the movie theater, and it really struck me just how beautiful our lives are, how powerful and how fragile they are. But how we also hope, much like Thorin did, that we did more than just chase after riches, chased after gold and glory, that we've done something powerful, much like DANIELLE DUPONT has done. It served as a wonderful reminder for me. And afterwards, of course, I sat down and I decided I needed to write a eulogy to Thorin. And this is the song that came out for the Brobdingnagian Bards album, I Will Not Sing Along.
In his
right. Thank you so much for joining me once again. You made it to the end, and that means you're my kind of person. So let me tell you about something, and I promise it'll only take a couple minutes, but I've got a Patreon, patreon.com/Keltfather. And here's the thing. Most people don't realize what's actually over there. Just following for free gets you a free album, the Virtual Public House, a whole live album, recorded live for my Pub Songs and Stories podcast. No catch, no credit card, nothing. Just follow my Patreon and it's yours. And if you want more, $5 a month is where it gets interesting. You get 6 studio albums. You get a Kilted Drinking Songs, which is another live Pub Songs and Stories podcast album I recorded for this podcast. It's not on Spotify. It's not on Apple Music. It doesn't exist anywhere. Same with Field of Drams, which is available at the hero level. And, of course, Heroes, which is available at the superhero level. You get the rough cuts. Songs I'm writing right now before they go anywhere. You're hearing tomorrow's music today, which is either exciting or terrifying depending on on the song. You get a new original song every month, concert bootlegs, sheet music if you play at home, and Stories from the Road, which is another podcast, the one where I talk about all the stuff that happens between the shows that I can't quite say on stage. And you get this podcast sometimes a week early, which means none of the suspense you just endured. For the real enthusiast, again, the superhero tier gets both pub albums, but you're going to get them mailed to you on actual physical CDs, the only way to own them, pressed and shipped to your door. This offer is only available during the month of May 2026. Look, I make this music because I love it. The Patreon is what makes it possible to keep making it. Every patron matters more than you know. If you've been meaning to join, now's a great time. I'm playing 4 weekends at the Georgia Renaissance Festival through May, and patrons are getting behind the scenes of all of it. Patreon.com/Keltfather. Free to follow. 1 pint a month to unlock the lot. Sláinte, and thanks for listening to Pub Songs and Stories. The episode was edited by Mitchell Peterson. You can follow and listen to the show on Patreon or wherever you find podcasts. Sign up to my mailing list to learn more about songs featured in this podcast and discover where I'm performing. I've been singing old songs my whole life, and songs about green hills, cold rivers, seasons that came and went like they always had. These songs were written by people who assumed the world would look the same forever. It won't. Not if we don't pay attention. I travel a lot. I play music in fields and forests and festivals, and I notice things that weren't there 10 years ago, things that are gone that used to be. The old songs are worth saving. So is the world they were written about. Climate action isn't political to me. It's personal. It's about keeping the world worth singing about. So vote like the world depends on it, because it does. The songs are counting on it. Join the quest and sing along at pubsong.com.